What's up, fight fans? Welcome to Mr. Mustache MMA News. Today, I want to discuss the most random fight of all time this Saturday, Henry Cejudo versus Payton Talbott, UFC 323. But guys, before we get into it, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button to continue getting more MMA content by yours truly and to help the channel grow. All right, guys, getting right into it. We got a weird fight here. Cejudo, Talbott, clearly a passing of the guard style fight. Cejudo has said that this is his last fight, win or lose. I'm pretty sure he wants to go out with a dub. And here, the UFC, they definitely want to push Payton Talbott. Sorry, I got hair in my fucking face. They want to push Payton Talbott, definitely. He's someone, even though after that loss to Ronnie Barcelos, he has a lot of star power. Say what you want about him, strange cat, right? But he is a fucking good fighter. His great stand-up, knockout ability, tall, long, and lanky for the weight class. He's confident, dangerous. It seems that he's been definitely working on his wrestling since his loss to Barcelos. He bounced back with that win over Felipe Lima in a fight where he just was just more physical, right? I think the physicality of that fight was just, he was a step ahead too of Felipe in that fight. It was a fun one, close fight. But I thought Payton was just more physical and just kind of a step ahead that whole time. But here against Henry Cejudo, right, he's fighting a former champion. But I think here, a lot of it, physical intangibles, right? Like 5'10", 27 years old, a lot bigger, longer, stronger, faster, more athletic. Then you have Cejudo, 38, 5'4", former flyweight, right? Going into, the story of Henry Cejudo, when it comes to the longevity after winning his two belts, is very similar in the fashion of Conor McGregor, right? Where Cejudo, amazing at flyweight, right? But then took the chance, went up to 135, beat Dominic Cruz, but then retired. And he did it as a way to get a raise from the UFC, where it backfired horribly. Ended up taking a lot of time off calling their bluff, saying that he was done, but they never ended up calling to give him more money. And then by the time where he needed money, he's like, all right, well, now it's time for me to come back. But, by the time he came back, he had gotten already into his mid to late 30s. He should have gone back to flyweight if that was possible in the first place, but I don't think so. I think just as the time that he got older, maybe making 125 just wasn't possible for him anymore. But at 135, I think he's just too small, especially as this new crop has definitely come in the time that he has been off. And a lot like how Conor McGregor, whether he was the 145 champ, just fucking dudes up. He was big for the weight class, had the one fight at 55, disappeared, and then he came back, even had a 170 fight. But like at the end of the day, at 155, he's just not big enough for these guys. And he also put himself in this position where he can't make 145 anymore, where he really was legendary elite level at featherweight. So I feel very similar parallels to the careers of Henry Cejudo and Conor McGregor when it comes to where their success was and kind of where it led them. And here against, Payton Talbott, okay, and with Cejudo, like the UFC definitely punished him on his comeback, right? Like they gave him the fight with Sterling, didn't go his way. You could tell that he was just rusty. Came back again, had the fight with Merab, where it was just everything that Cejudo was good at, Merab was also good at, but had the cardio, was very active, was stronger, more physical, and Cejudo he faded as the fight went on, right? He just couldn't hang in that fight. Then the third and last one, which was weird, that ended up being a decision loss because of the eye poke. He should have not continued. It was just shitty luck, and the UFC, they just gave him the hardest matchups possible, which was, rightfully so, former champion, they should have, but it's just that I feel like he's now in like this lose situation, especially in his final fight against Payton. Again, I just see Henry, he might go out there and have a successful first round and get a double leg, maybe get Payton up against the fence, drag him down, hold him down against the fence, something along those lines. But I see him when he enters and he breaks that distance and he enters that fucking, I see him just eating the hardest knee from Payton. That's what I just keep seeing. I don't know. I just don't. I just see as the fight. I see Payton picking him apart, and I see the age of Henry Cejudo showing. It is 3 rounds, so maybe not so, but I think the writing's on the wall for this one. As good as Henry Cejudo is, Father's Time always wins. That was lame as fuck. That was unintentional. But yeah, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. Who do you guys have? Henry Cejudo, Payton Talbott? I got Payton. Even though it would be sweet as fuck to see Henry go out there and, ride off into the sunset with a big W over a guy who the UFC is trying to, like, put over, right? That would be sick as fuck, too. But I don't think it's going to happen. But I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. What do you guys think? But that's going to do it for today, guys. Mr. Mustache, MMA News out. Let's fucking go, fight fans.